Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shock Horror Theatre. My name is Robin Crowley, and this is my review for Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So, ghouls and ghosts, if you just so happen to have been in a coma for the last 40 plus years, you might not know that Halloween 4 is, coincidentally, the fourth entry in the oh-so-popular Halloween series of films. A series of slasher films, should I say, that began all the way back in 1978 with John Carpenter's masterpiece, Halloween. This time, directorial duties are handled by Dwight H. Little. The screenplay is written by Alan B. McElroy, and the film stars Donald Pleasence, Ellie Cornell, and probably most famously, Danielle Harris. The story this time sees Michael Myers returning to the town of Haddonfield to kill his young niece Jamie Lloyd, a decade after his first killing spree. For those of you who may know me personally, you'll know that I am an absolute fanatic when it comes to the Halloween series, and I've been rather excited to talk about this entry, so let's not waste any more time, and let's review this slasher movie sequel the only way I know how, badly. And let me start off by telling you what I absolutely adore about this film. Like I said, dear viewers, I am a bona fide Halloween fanatic. And in fact, growing up, aside from the original Halloween, this was most definitely the Halloween sequel I watched more than any of the others. In fact, I have a particularly fond memory of watching this very sequel with my parents. And when it got to a, let's call it, particularly promiscuous moment in the movie, I recall my father putting down his pipe and using his hands to cover my eyes, lest I become corrupted by the promiscuous scene. Little did he know, though, that I could see through his fingers. Oh my. But anyway, we're not here to bloody reminisce. I've always had a fondness for this Halloween film, most notably because it once again features Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis, a character synonymous with the Halloween film franchise. And in fact, in my very humble opinion, Halloween just isn't the same without him. And Donald Pleasence's performance in this film is probably the best one that he gives in, well, any of the Halloween franchise. Did I say bloody franchises? I meant to say sequels. Sequels! The man was an acting legend, and rightly so. The film also introduced Danielle Harris to the horror world. And what an introduction it is, though Miss Harris was very young at the time. Her performance here is also rather excellent. She gets to be cute, she gets to scream, she gets to have a temper tantrum, and most importantly, she gets to attack her mother with a pair of scissors. Something that I too dreamt of when I was a child, and I mean to say, moving on. This film also features some of my absolute favorite scenes in any of the Halloween films. Michael waking up in the back of the ambulance only to ram his thumb into that paw. Well, I don't really know what job title the chap has. He's not a doctor. He's definitely not a nurse. Attendant? Is that what we call attendant? Anyway, he sticks his thumb into some poor chap's head. Not before slamming it up the side of the ambulance. I don't know why I'm laughing at that. Makes me sound like a psychopath. There's an excellent scene on a rooftop. A series of situations inside Sheriff Mika's house. We have the promiscuous scene that I was talking about earlier, as well as Michael taking out a poor deputy by contorting his body in a way not even an Olympic gymnast could achieve. He even cuts the poor bastard's heads off. Sadly, we don't get to see any of that, just the aftermath, but trust me, the aftermath is enough. He also takes out this movie's bimbo, a dickhead boyfriend, before pursuing Jamie and her sister onto the rooftop I was talking about before. Great little sequence. I also absolutely adore every single minute of what would be considered this game's climax. Did I just say this game's climax? God damn it! I meant this movie's climax. This movie's climax. For those of you who don't know, I also have a gaming channel, Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. Yes, it truly is the best gaming channel on YouTube. That's probably why I got a little confused there. Anyway, I adore everything about this film's climax. The sequence on the truck as Jamie and her sister are trying to get out of Haddonfield. The way the Halloween theme kicks in, absolutely splendid. And of course, I would be completely remiss if I didn't mention this film's absolutely fantastically chilling ending. In fact, aside from the original Halloween, this is definitely the best ending to any Halloween film. And yes, I know this film is almost 40 years old, but I don't want to spoil it here. All I'll say about it is, it's not really something that gets followed up on in Halloween 5, and that could be interpreted as both a good and a bad thing. But the ending is fantastic nonetheless. There's two other scenes that I think are absolutely fantastic. I'll talk about them before I move on, just in case I forget about them. One features a character called Bucky, if you know, you know, and the other is Dr. Loomis's first meeting with Michael in this film, which I've always found to be a very eerie, though albeit action-packed little sequence. We get to see a gas station, well, blow up, and we get to see the elderly Dr. Loomis perform a stunt that not even I would consider doing. I myself are rather agile. Well, apart from when my back hurts, and my leg hurts, and my left wrist hurts, and my head hurts, and my foot makes a weird jittery motion. But apart from that, incredibly agile. I also definitely think this is one of the most atmospheric Halloween sequels. Be it the opening credits, be it the town of Haddonfield in near darkness after Michael has taken out the power, be it the jack-o'-lantern strewn all over the bloody place, and of course the children trick-or-treating. Because what is Halloween without trick-or-treating? And yes, before anyone asks, I do go out trick-or-treating every single year without fail, which you might call creepy, a little bit weird, but I call it unique. Honestly, dear viewers, I can't say enough good things about Halloween 4. I absolutely love it. Yes, I could complain about how Michael Myers' mask looks in this film. Yes, I could complain about that one shot in the school where it looks like Michael has bloody blonde hair. Honestly, how could you order a mask that has goddamn blonde hair? And then how could you choose to start filming with the bloody thing? I could complain about the fact that this was the first sequel in the quote-unquote Thorn trilogy. But since this film doesn't feature any of the garbage that would come up in Halloween 5 and, sadly, Halloween 6, I don't have to criticize this film for that. So I'll just say, if you're a Halloween fan, if you're a fan of slasher movies and you somehow haven't seen this film, watch it. Watch it right bloody now. While you do that, I'll be planning my costume for this year's Halloween. I managed to narrow my costume choices down to two. I can either go as Art the Clown, or I can go as what I went as last year, Count Dracula with a bad case of the runs. Decisions. And I'll leave you with this quote. Bonus points for those of you who can guess what it's from. No, that wasn't the quote. I haven't said the quote yet. I'm going to say the quote now. I'm not a psychopath, Anderson. I'm a high-functioning sociopath. Do your research.